Quadrillion. Uh-huh. There's only one place you'll find that word on Rokenjima. And where? Gold butterflies flitted from shadow to shadow, dodging raindrops. It was the chapel. When the were we ever given that information? That mysterious building, one of the oldest in Rokenjima, which had been built at the same time as the mansion. It was called the chapel, but not once had Kinzo used it for worship, and the members of the family had never been allowed inside. There were strict orders that none approach it without reason, and its purpose has always been a mystery. However, all of these mysteries got boring after several decades. At some point, everyone forgot the chapel even existed, and that splendid building passed from the thoughts of Rokenjima's residents. Of course, this had been true for Beato as well. Beato, who hated boredom and had no desire to approach places that humans never went. Her last memory was of the time she went in there to taunt Shannon as she tried to clean. Quadrillion. Beato looked up above the door of the chapel. There was a relief displayed over an arch. English words were written there. Was that really told to us in episode 2 when like the chapel shit was happening? Was that really said? Because I have no recollection of that. This chapel was built long ago. If there is a device like the one I imagine, Kinzo must have prepared that Epitaph riddle many decades ago. He must have been planning to use it as a ceremony for choosing a fitting successor all that time. However, that ceremony is now a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land and to my resurrection. When I snapped my fingers, the ground bulged and several snake-like dead trees sprouted up. They twisted around each other to form a ladder which leaned itself against the door. I slowly climbed the ladder. Because of the size of the door, the relief was very high up. This close-up, it looks much bigger than it did from the ground. I thought it strange, but nothing more. The master treasured this relief, so the head servant cared for it himself. I was accepted that excuse. But now I understand. There must be something in this relief. And Genji polished it himself to make sure that no one else accidentally found out. Tips of my fingers touched the cue. My fingertips were soon covered with dust. However, I quickly realized that there was something strange about that. Beato grabbed the letter Q, and after lightly playing around with it in various ways, she pulled it out with a slight clunk. Here's the Q I pulled out. And this part's a wedge. No. It's a key. A key was attached to the back of the Q and had been stuck into a keyhole in the relief. Huh? Beato carelessly tossed the Q key aside. This was the first sacrifice. She kept on pulling out the keys for the 6 letters representing the key. There were 2 L's. I didn't know which one I should sacrifice. I tried pulling both out, but the keys were of different shapes. So one is the right answer and one is the wrong answer. Unless messing up sets off a trap that blows up the island, of course. Taking it a waste of time to say you're worrying, I decided on the rightmost L and pulled it out. 5 letters remained in the word. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. Those who remain shall tear apart the two who are close. Does that mean like you take the letters around the DNR and put them in between? Is that what you're trying to get me to do? So you put the other three letters in between them. No. But if I do, there will only be three letters left. By this point, I was able to make a good guess at what the gouge and kill lines meant.
鍵をひねって回してから引き抜きとなれば、頭から足はおそらく左の文字鍵から右へ順にそれを行えという意味に違いありま
If that's the case, there must be 5 characters left on the board. In other words, tear apart doesn't mean kill.
それで引き裂けと考えた場合、この D と R、2字のしかしまたしてもやり方は2通りであるぞ。
Do I move the D and move it to the left? Do I move the R and move it to the right? After pondering this for some time, I realized that both choices were wrong.
違う、そうではない。さっきの L から間違っていた。
A short while ago, I removed the right of the two L's. However, if I had removed the left one, it would look like this. Yes. If you line it up this way, it's easy to see the next step. Actually, wait, what? The R gets shifted to the right. Yeah, right, because then there's a space between each one. That's what I was gonna say, but she said, like... Whatever. This way, all the letters are spread out evenly. Okay. This must be it.
そして次がまた難題であるぞ。
Okay.
我が名を称えよと。
Praise my name. Ah, yes. You, Dr. Lowe. Of course. It's already clear that this is a word game. Those who remain shall praise my noble name. Just what are the 5 remaining letters supposed to do? Probably change their order to form a word. Right. I kind of figured as much. But I'm guessing it's not like an English word, so it's probably... Well, no. It might be. Because isn't Mr. Kinzo all fan of like the West and whatnot or something? I could spell the word loud, but then I have an extra R. Louder. Or like, I could spell Lord, but then I have an extra U. You Lord. Lordu. Dr. Lou. Good old Dr. Lou. Rolud. Rolud. Ruload. I don't fucking know, dude.
U, D, R, L, O.
Correct. Good. Drowl. Drool. Louder. Rowled. Rud.
この5文字をどうにかすると
Fuck if I know,
何
dude.
かの意味になるという。
Praise my name.
ここまで来てこの5文字でどう我が名とやらを称えろというのか。
That man's name is Ishiromiya Kinzo. Uh-huh. Also known as Goldsmith, but that doesn't help us here. Is the U part of Ushiromiya? No, several letters don't match. There aren't nearly enough letters to make Ushiromiya. Also, Ushiromiya Kinzo does not have a D or an L.
我が名とは金蔵を指すことだけは間違いない。ならばやはり U は後ろ宮を指す。
Lord U? Was I right after all with Lord U?
イニシャルであると。ならば D、
Lord、
金蔵も R、
Lord、
O で六軒島の主金蔵。
Lord、
字数がまるで足らぬ。
Lord! Lord! Come on. I think I played around with a bit. I pulled out the U. There are 4 letters left. DRLO. Lord! Come on! My idea that the U stood for Yushinomiya was like a heavenly oracle. When I removed the U, I thought of making a word with the 4 remaining letters. Lord! Those 4 letters spun around my head, changing their orders. Lashed upon a single English word that would serve to praise Kinzo.
Lord.
Thank you.
Lord.
Yeah, didn't they call him like Lord Goldsmith too? The furniture did? Lord Goldsmith. I had absolutely no basis for it. Fuck you, there's basis. However, it was like a flash of inspiration. I quickly changed the letters around before that flash failed from my mind. So it should be Lord U. Yeah, Lord U. Okay.
L-O-R-D.
Lord U.
Lord U. 後ろ宮卿どうか第4の番に
Gouge the
頭を
head.
えぐりって
It was a key, so it wouldn't have turned if it was the wrong one. But it did turn. I managed to gouge it. I gouged the first letter, the L, with a click, and then pulled it out.
次胸をえぐりて殺せ
Then the R, then the D, then the U. When I turned the key of the U, I could feel a resistance, as though some device had been activated. I waited for something to change, but nothing did. However, I had felt something happen. A secret door must have opened up somewhere around here. Waiting around won't accomplish anything. I've probably done everything I can here. All the letters in quadrillion have been removed.
第9の番に魔女は蘇り誰も生き残れはしない
So, this way, has the witch, have I, revived? The 10th twilight. At journey's end, you shall attain the power of the Golden Lance treasures once and for the last time. When I stepped down off the ladder and looked around, I immediately noticed a small change.
ライオンの像が
The lion statue, At some point, the lion statue in front of the chapel had turned to face a different direction. How did that work? Did Kinzo plan up this extravagant device back when he first started building on this island? I walked up to the lion statue and stared at it. Other than the fact that it was pointing a different direction, nothing had changed. That's why you walk in the direction it's pointing. In that case, is this lion looking at something in particular now? Uh-huh. I followed its line of sight and saw another lion statue. And that lion statue had also changed its direction.
なるほどライオンの道案内に従う金蔵め凝った仕掛けを作りおる
I wasn't complaining anymore. I felt a bit of respect and awe at Kinzo for setting up an intricate device and having it go undiscovered all these years. There were lion statues standing like guardian deities at the entrance and the corners of the chapel. The direction they faced had changed, pointing around to the back of the chapel. There was something there. It was no longer a surprise. This was after the contraption with the letters. After being guided by the lions. So when a gaping open secret passageway appeared with stairs leading down to the darkness below, it wasn't surprising to me anymore.
これが黄金鏡への入り口だというのか金
Okay. I don't think I need my fucking notebook anymore. Put that shit down.
見つけたんですかおじい様の黄金をはい長い長い時間をかけてたどり着いた
過去のゲームによるならばそこには地下の貴賓室がありそして
はい地下への武骨な階段を降りていくと月や中はまさに貴賓室と呼ぶべき美しき内装でした
見つけたのは黄金だけだったのか
はいその時は積み上げられた黄金に目がくらまぬわけもありませんでした
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
これは本物なのか
I lightly touched the pile of gold with my finger. It was hard, and cold. I must have imagined that it would crumble like a sandcastle if I touched it. Now there could be no doubt. This certainly was a 10-ton pile of gold ingots. Considering the amount of gold I just found, I figured I ought to be crying out in delight. I didn't really feel like laughing, but I thought it only good manners to do so in a situation like this, so I forced it out. Because of this, only a few feeble laughs slipped from my mouth. At that moment, even stronger than any delight was a feeling as though I'd entered a place I wasn't supposed to be. I couldn't think of what I should do next now that the Epitaph's riddle had been completed. Then I heard approaching footsteps. It was coming from the stairway I'd entered by. Someone was coming. Could it be Kinzo? Genji? If he finds out I've been in a place like this, will I get scolded harshly? I thought about hiding and forgetting this ever happened, but my legs wouldn't move. I kept standing there, stunned, in front of the pile of gold. As the footsteps drew closer and closer, the door opened, and I saw who it was. It wasn't Kinzo. Yep.
そなたは
自分の力だけでたどり着いたのか。
うん。
For some time, Genji stared at Beato in silence, as though he was calculating something. Then he slowly clapped his hands together. He did it again, over and over. It took quite a long time before I realized that he was applauding me.
親方様は碑文を最初に説いた者に、そしてその人物がベアトリーチェであると信じ。
ベアトリー、私が。
これはお前は今日を迎えるのが運命。
I didn't really understand what Genji was saying. Surely the shock of seeing the gold still had me paralyzed.
こっちへ来なさい。
Oh, is it time she learns the truth?
はい。
The truth of her origins? Genji opened a closet. Inside it was a torso wearing a beautiful dress made of black cloth and golden stitching. When I saw it, I understood immediately. It was the witch's dress. The black dress worn by Beatrice in the portrait.
これに着替えなさい。
Where's this going, Genji? Where's this going, Genji? Genji, where's this going? Where's this going, Genji? Genji, Genji, I don't like this. There's the big elegant bed in the room and you're telling her to get into the witch's dress? Like, Genji, 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 Genji. You're supposed to be a
かつ
homie.
てお前が着ていたものだ。
Genji? I've never worn a dress like this. However, I understood what Genji meant. This dress was the one that Beatrice once wore, and the one who displays a miracle by solving the epitaph is Beatrice. By reaching this room, I succeeded at the position of the real Beatrice, the one in the portrait. Why do I call myself Beatrice? Because the name of the Golden Witch who rules over Rokenjima's night is Beatrice. That's right. I wasn't the real Beatrice. I was a different witch, stealing the name of the witch from Kinzo's delusions. And now, I have succeeded the real Beatrice. By solving the Epitaph's riddle, my resurrection will be complete. I was the one who decided on that rule. However, this really was a ceremony to resurrect Beatrice. In the past, I believed that I could create my own fate with my magic. How ironic that one who could control magic at will would be guided by fate to this place. At that moment, I had no choice but to truly accept and believe in this word called fate.
これを着たら。
Yeah, what happens after she
親
puts it
方
on?
様のところへ行く。
Genji, Genji, hey, Genji, 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 my guy, Genji, Genji, listen, Genji, whoa, Genji, Genji, come on, listen, Genji, please, my man, Genji, please.
支度をしなさい。
Don't say ready yourself, Genji, Genji, my dude, my guy, my homie, please, for the love of God.
ここで待て。
Genji,
はい。
Genji, Genji.
親方様、源氏でございます。
After Genji knocked, the sound of the study's door unlocking could be heard. Genji. After a single glance telling me to wait, Genji entered alone. Genji.
このような日が来ると運命とは本当に不思議なものです。
Kuma-san was with us too. I thought this dress, which didn't really suit me, would lead to a lot of jokes, but she didn't laugh at me at all. On the contrary, when she saw me, her expression had turned stern, as though a long-awaited day had finally come. Genji. My heart raced. Supposedly anyone should have been able to solve the epitaph. There shouldn't be anything strange about me solving it. Genji and the others kept wearing serious expressions, and that, along with everything else, made this feel like some sort of grand ceremony. Genji. The suffocating silence continued. Genji. Eventually the door opened, and Genji peeked out.
お入りください。
Genji, please.
ベアトリーチェ様。
Genji. He was saying those words to me, but not to the person I had been until a short while ago.
さあどうぞベアトリーチェ様。
Kumasawa also urged me forward with a respectful bow. Kinzo was probably waiting for me inside. What expression should I wear as I go in? How should I greet him? I don't have a clue. As the two of them motioned me forward, it was all I could do to avoid tripping over my dress as I walked. Genji.
金蔵さん。
Nanjo! Hey, Nanjo, hey, you're here too? Awesome. Nanjo, please, for the love of God. Nanjo. Keep a hold on your man. Kinzo was crouched on the ground as though kneeling before the portrait of Beatrice. At Nanjo's words, he slowly turned, still crouching. Kinzo? Kinzo's eyes were already red with crying. When he saw me, he groaned with wonder. Kinzo? Kinzo? Had even forgotten how to stand up. He crawled over to where I was, while calling out to me with the name of the woman he had loved long ago. I was too stunned to move. Kinzo grabbed the hem of my dress and gripped it tightly, and curled up and sobbed. Kinzo? Kinzo?
お前の心は分かっていた。すまなかった。許しておくれ。許しておくれ。
The words weren't directed at me. However, just standing here like this was all I needed to do. Kinzo's moment of atonement, the moment he had spent half of his life searching for, had finally come. A human's life is stained with sin, so humans seek forgiveness while they still live. However, in most cases, the person capable of granting such forgiveness is no longer on this earth. It was like that for Kinzo, too. The one he sought no longer existed in this world. Instead, that forgiveness had been woven together by a miracle, and now Kinzo had received it.
Oh, Beatrice! Beatrice!
Kinzo?
たとえ許してくれなくてもいい。何も言わない。私はお前にただ一言謝れればそれでよかった。
Kinzo? Kinzo kept grasping the dress's hem and sobbing. The sins of humans are not forgiven from without. Forgiveness is found through regret and repentance. I want to believe that some sin, some fault of his, has been forgiven thanks to the way I look. No, his sin isn't one that just gets forgiven. Nah, you don't get to wash that one away with us. Sorry. Kinzo's sobbing gradually ceased. He slowly looked up at me and rose. He looked unsteady. Nanjo rushed forward to support him. This time, these words weren't directed through me, but at me. I hesitated, unsure how I should respond.
今日まで親方様に内密にしておりましたことを。よいのだ源氏。私の犯した罪を思えば、今日までの日々はすべて贖罪のために必要な日々。しかし、今日の奇跡は紛れもなく、彼女は誰の助けもなく、誰よりも最初に碑文を解いたのです。よくぞ、あの難解な碑文を解けたな。母の声によく似ておる。
Kinzo?
面影も母や娘を思い出し、
Kinzo?
紛れもなくお前にはベアトリーチェの血が流れてる。
はい、若き日のクアドリアンのお嬢様の面影がよく残っております。
Does my face look like someone else's?
ベアトリーチェ様、これまであなたにも秘密にしてあなたはベアトリーチェ様と親方様よりお生まれになったのです。
真実でございます。あなた様は今日まで両親のいない子として、しかし 本当のお父上は親、そして本当のお母上はベアト。
それは
はい、あなたは本当にベアトリーチェ様のご子孫でございます。
Such a strange fate. Really possible? I've dreamed about it. Dreamed about what it'd be like to be the Golden Witch, Beatrice. But that dream had been mine alone. I dreamed that if I solved the epitaph and carried out its ceremony, I would revive as the true Beatrice. So is it okay to believe that since I've solved it, Beatrice really has revived?
私が本当にベアトリーチェの血を。
はい、一切の紛れはございません。
今日まで親子の愛情も知らず。
Yeah, and trust me, you should keep living that way. You don't want this parent's affection.
にもかかわらず。
皆さんは知ってたんですか、私のことを。
Genji, Kumasawa, and even Nanjo nodded wordlessly. Now that I think about it, there might have been lots of hints. I always felt as though there was something special about me. Genji, and especially Kumasawa, always treated me very kindly. Then, does that mean this day is a promised day, which would eventually have come no matter what? I don't understand anything anymore. It's all a miracle from God. A promised fate has led me to this day.
ベアトリー、いやリオ、そなたに与えようと思っていた名前。
あなたの本当の
リオ、今こそそなたにあの黄金もそれによって生み出された後ろ宮家のすべてもそなたに返そう。
Kinzo stuck out a hand that looked like a rotting tree. On his finger was a ring with the one-winged eagle crest, the symbol of the Shirame family had. He pulled it off, grasped it tightly, and held it out to me. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, as though they were being drawn forward, I held out my hands, palms up. After pressing his fists against my cupped hands, Kinzo slowly opened his hands and let the ring drop.
我が子リオイには今日までお前の運命をもてあそんだのはすべて許しておくれ。そなたは今や我が指輪を受け継ぎ正しくあの黄金はすべてそなたのもの。好きに使い今日までの日々の辛き思い出をわずかの程度の黄金、私の犯した罪には到底及ぶ。それでもそなたを慰めるくらいはできるはずだ。
ありがとうございます。
リオ、最後に一つだけ。
何でしょうか。
私を呼んでくれぬか。私をお父様と呼んでくれぬか。呼べぬ気持ちは私はそなたに何も父らしいことをしなかった。そしてそなたもまた父、とても口にできる言葉ではない。そしてそれを求めるしだが、それさえ聞けたならもう私に何の未練もない。
After being asked like that, could I possibly have refused? Yeah. Even if I am his child, I truly cannot acknowledge him as my father, correct? So it felt very strange to say it, and yet I decided that saying it was the right thing to do. Debatable. Only God can truly forgive sins. But, though it may be temporary, people can be saved by the forgiveness of others. Fucker.
お父
What the
様。
That awkward word made Kinzo laugh. Drops of silver fell from both of his eyes. That moment, the shadow that had covered his face was wiped away.
ありがとう、リオ、我が子へ。そしてベア、最後に許しを請う機会を与えて、もちろんこれ式で許された続きは地獄の豪華で焼かれながらとしようではないか。後ろ宮金蔵、 我がせいに一切の未練なし。もはや何もなし。心残りもやり残しも何もなし。
Looking up to the heavens, Kinzo spread his arms as though facing an applauding audience, laughing at the top of his lungs. It was the final pleasure, known only by those who have been released from all regrets of this world. Kinzo's laugh weakened, and when it disappeared, he dropped to his knees, like a puppet with its strings cut, and slowly died, fell to the ground. He dead?
親方様。
南條先生。
Though their master had fallen, they walked up to him slowly. They already knew. Kinzo's soul had already burned itself out. And this is 84, right? Yeah. After checking Kinzo's pulse, Nanjo shook his head and stood back up.
大往生だ。何の心残りもないだろう。
I mean, he kind of said as much.
親方様はあるいはもうそれを親方様の魔法とそしてベアトリーチェ様に謝罪する機会をようやく得て
安らかにあなたは罪に償
I
われ
don't.
た。
That was the one night reunion between me and my father, and also our final farewell. I